what is cancer?
Definition of cancer has moved a lot with time, and I think technology plays a very important role. The risk of cancer, 20 to 30% is sort of determined by genes. So that is how we are born with. There's very little we can do, but 70% could be lifestyle associated. With research, actually, many cancers are now very manageable, and that is why the death rate has not really been increasing. In fact, it has dropped for many cancer types. As a scientist, I can see that there are so many great innovations coming out, not just from the labs, but also from the startups.
As I sat down with Dr. Andy Tay in Singapore, I couldn't help but think how the conversation about aging has shifted. We're no longer just asking, how long will I live? We're asking, how well will I live? And Andy represents a new generation of researchers who understand that the goal is not just to treat the disease, it's to help people position and maintain agency, productivity, maybe even joy throughout their lifespan. I've got 4 reflections from my conversation with Andy and 1 experiment to consider at the end of it. The first one is cancer is a disease of accumulated mutation, not inevitability. I asked Andy to explain to us up front what is cancer, and he explained it beautifully in simple terms. He said, imagine being forced to copy a massive document 1,000 times. You're bound to make errors. And our cells divide throughout our lives, rewriting DNA code each time, and errors can accumulate. What transforms a healthy cell into a cancer cell isn't just one catastrophic event. It's the gradual accumulation of copying errors over time. Now, this reframing is crucial because it helps us understand that whilst we can't prevent all mutations, we can influence the rate at which they accumulate through lifestyle choices. The conversation took an unexpected turn from me when we explored the paradox of modern medicine. Cancer rates are rising, but mortality rates are falling. We're living longer, giving ourselves more time to accumulate mutations, but we're getting better and better at treating and detecting those cancers. For me, it's a reminder that aging is not about fighting time, it's about equipping ourselves for the journey ahead, including battling cancers. The second reflection I took from my conversation with Andy is immunotherapy represents our best hope for treating cancer. He shared a story of someone called Emily Whitehead, the first CAR T-cell patient, illustrating why immunotherapy is revolutionary. Traditional treatments like chemotherapy and radiation work by poisoning or burning cancer cells, sometimes damaging healthy tissue in the process. Immunotherapy takes a fundamentally different approach. It turns our own immune cells into what he called super soldiers that can recognize and destroy cancer cells with precision. Now, what's extraordinary to me that these engineered immune cells create a memory. Emily White has been cancer-free for 13 years because her immune system now knows how to fight that particular cancer and remembers, if it ever returns, what it needs to do. Going back to the metaphor that immune cells act as soldiers that are constantly patrolling our body, they are looking for threats and they remember what threats look like. Unlike every other cell type, which stays in one place, immune cells are mobile. They're able to travel everywhere around our body. I love how Andy shared with us they can learn about threats in your toe and then travel to your eye with the knowledge intact. This mobility and memory makes them uniquely suited for fighting cancer, which can appear anywhere and spread throughout our body. So the key is keeping our immune system functionally optimal as we age, because immune function naturally declines over time. Which leads to my third reflection from the conversation with Andy, which is stress may actually fuel cancer growth to the nervous system. He shared with us that animal studies have shown stress causes the body to produce neurotransmitters that can actually help cancer cells grow more effectively. The nervous system communicates extensively with, say, our skin cancer cells, and when animals are stressed, this communication appears to accelerate tumor growth. Whilst this has not been definitely proven in humans yet, it's adding scientific weight to what many people instinctively feel. Chronic stress is not just unpleasant, it can be potentially dangerous. Now, this doesn't mean that stress causes cancer, but it does suggest that stress management isn't just about the quality of our life, it's about longevity itself. Now, I took this as probably the most empowering insight from our conversation. The fact that 20 to 30% of cancer risk is genetically determined by how and where we're born, etc. 70% are associated with lifestyle factors. Like, we know that tobacco causes lung cancer. We know that carcinogenic agents in preserved foods can contribute to colon cancer. We know that microplastics are found throughout our body and may be linked with chronic inflammation. The science that Andy shared with us gives us clear targets. Number 1, avoid proven carcinogens. Number 2, maintain a balanced diet. Number 3, exercise regularly. He suggested 3 to 4 times a week. And number 4, this is really important, get adequate sleep. He suggested 8 hours a night. We're not helpless in the face of cancer. We indeed can help improve our immune system. We have the agency. And the fourth reflection, which I thought was really profound because of its simplicity and its soundness, is this idea that balance is the ultimate health strategy. When I asked Andy about his own personal health practices, he kept returning to one word: balance. Balanced sleep, balanced exercise, 3 to 4 times a week, balanced diet. He talked a lot about intermittent fasting. But balance isn't just about the physical practices, it's about avoiding extremes in any direction. He said, we've already cracked the code on healthy living. The challenge is not knowing what to do, it's to doing it consistently. In a world of biohacking fads and extreme protocols, I walked away with a sense of Andy's commitment to balance feels both refreshing and scientifically very sound. So my one experiment based upon Andy's conversation is not about science in terms of cancer or immunotherapy, although this may help reduce stress and increase a sense of joy. The experiment is about gratitude and mapping gratitude. Andy shared with us that after he received the Singapore President's National Science and Technology Award, he did not immediately post it on, say, LinkedIn. He took time to identify every person who had contributed to his own success, be it students, be it colleagues, be it mentors. And he wrote each one of them a personalized message acknowledging their specific contribution to his success before he made any public announcement. The experiment I'm going to invite you to consider is creating your own gratitude map. Now, I've done this in my own life several times. The first time I did this, I was about 38, and I actually rang a lady in Ireland called Marissa Gilligan, who was one of my first ever managers when I was 19. And she set me on a path of work a little bit harder, try a little bit harder than everybody else, and you'll ultimately be more successful than you think you will be. And at 38, when I got one of my first major leadership roles, I thought about her and her words from when I was 19. And I ended up ringing her many years later to thank her for that instruction and that guidance. And she was then long retired from when I had first met her. And she said to me it was the first time in her whole career someone had rang her to thank her for that guidance and that mentorship. And now as a 55-year-old man, I still think about her occasionally and the advice that she gave me. So here's the experiment. Choose an area of life where you experience success or growth, or maybe simply sustained your well-being, your health, your work, a creative pursuit, whatever it is. Grab a blank sheet of paper, draw yourself in the center of this piece of paper, and around you map out every person you know who contributed to this area of your life. There'll be some obvious people, but also include the less obvious people. Maybe a friend who just listened during a difficult time. Maybe a colleague who covered for you to give you time to do that pursuit. Maybe a family member who believed in you, even if the person challenged you in a way that ultimately helps you grow. And over the next couple of weeks, reach out to each of them with a specific message. Don't just say thank you, although that's a good start. Tell them exactly what they did and why it mattered to you. Give them the specific moment, the insight you got, the support they gave you, and how it led to the output that you are now proud of. You will personally get a lot of joy by doing that. What I took away from this conversation goes way beyond the science, as remarkable as the science is. Dr. Tay embodies something we all need more of, the ability to be at the cutting edge of innovation and remaining grounded in timeless wisdom. He's helping to engineer super soldier immune cells in the laboratory, and at the same time he's practicing intermittent fasting at home. He's winning prestigious awards from the President of Singapore, and at the same time taking time to thank everyone who helped him get there. And for me, when I step back, the message is really simple. Those of us who are navigating midlife and beyond is clear. We're living in an extraordinary moment of time. Medical science is giving us more options than anyone has ever had before. But science alone won't save us. We need personal responsibility. We need gratitude. We need to start now, because the choices we make today are writing the story of how we will age tomorrow. Don't let the old man in, accept the wise person you're becoming. See you next time.